We are Flake Rose and Spears, and we are Supremely Black, dropping content that matters. How y'all doing this week, fellas?
It's your big kinfolk Jay Flake. Me personally, I'm doing all right, doing okay, doing just fine. I don't know if I made this announcement or not, but then once again, it go back to my oldest daughter, which I spoke about a couple times. As I stated, a while back, she was in school, trying to get her license, braid license, and all that good stuff. So she's already doing that. But she has been invited by a hair salon. Well, now she's working in the hair salon right now. So a lady has taken her under a wing, invited her to work in her hair salon 3 days out the week, so she can know the ropes of running her own hair salon, how everything run, and then the certain things she probably not gonna learn in school. She's doing that right now. So man, that there's been a blessing in disguise. Really wasn't expecting that to happen so early in her starting her school career. But the lady said, I went to your Instagram, seen some picture of the work you done. So I'd like for you to come work for me 3 days out the week so I can show you the ropes and all that good stuff. So eventually, when we get to a certain point, she's gonna allow her to bring her own clients in there and do hair in her shop as well. So man, big shout out. Big shout out to my oldest daughter, Kai, man. She doing her thing. She doing her thizzle right now, man.
Yeah, salute the fam, man. That's huge. So that goes to show you that what you put on social media can be recognized, and if people like it and rock with it, you put yourself in position to capitalize off of it. So shout out to Cuz.
Exactly. What social media probably used for? Not the
Very
stuff
true.
we see, not other stuff we see. People they all personal business, police showed up and everything else.
Right. Very true. But yeah, this your boy D Rose, man. Everything has been good with me. I really can't complain. Didn't watch any football this weekend. Was really busy getting stuff taken care of, getting prepared for this community event that we have coming up in the DFW area this week. Touched up on some Malcolm X books. Talked about Marcus Garvey, a lot of different things. So just kind of really chill, man. That was it, man. So everything been solid. We'll go ahead and get right in the spirits, man. I had a very supremely black weekend. Hold on, Flake. Hey, listen, man. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of stuff that we need to get ahead of, which we're gonna be talking about. So we'll roll right on in the spirits, man.
That shit really had me rolling and crying. I'm crying over here. But to be honest, my week's been good. My oldest son celebrated his 11th birthday on Friday, but we went out and celebrated yesterday. So my son is a big foodie, and his eyes bigger than his stomach. So he wanted to go restaurant hopping. So we went to like 3 or 4 different restaurants and to a little dessert spot. When I tell you I was full and stuff, and then my pockets are hurting because 4 different restaurants and then but it was all good. He enjoyed his siblings, so I had all 3 of my kids. He enjoyed his siblings time, and then with some friends and some other family. And so we had a good time, ate good, had good conversation, laughed. So it was just a blessing to celebrate the life of my children and life in general. So I had a good time as far as personal life that directly impacts me. But as far as like what's going on in society and shit, I'm just gonna go on this little rant, and I'm gonna ask the question that I always ask in times like this. Are you not entertained? When is enough going to be enough? When are we actually going to intentionally put something together where we are really fighting for the revolution and the liberation of us as people? Because if you do not realize with the Kyle Rittenhouse case and court proceedings, and with the Ahmaud Arbery court proceedings, that America, our Constitution, some bills, some laws is not for us, then you naive. You just naive, and you really need to wake up. But there has to come a time where we sacrifice something, whether it be time, whether it be money, whether it be life, whether it be blood, whether it be something. There has to come a time where we sacrifice something, because if not, they're gonna continue doing what they're doing and smiling in our face and calling us idiots because we ain't standing for nothing. And then what makes me even more upset is because we know what to do. And the perfect example with that is, I don't know if y'all been watching what's been going on at Howard, but the students at Howard just ended a 30-day protest slash
A boycott for 33 days.
yeah, boycott.
Yeah.
Boycott slash protest for 33 days on the campus of Howard to fight for their rights. And when you hear the students speak and when you hear what they fought for and everything, and when you go through history, they pinpoint, we always pinpoint at times like this, nothing was done without opposition. Nothing was done without a fight. Nothing was successful that achieved rights for somebody without somebody doing something against the grain, going against the oppressor, or going against the bigot, or going against the people who are putting you in those circumstances or situations. Because we're not going to call Howard University a bigot or even an oppressor. We ain't even going to put that narrative on them. But if you're facing something like that, that's not treating you right, or that's not giving you the qualities and the amenities that you deserve, then you have to do something in order to make them realize that you're serious, and to make them realize that you deserve and that you are demanding what you're asking for. And if we can't do that about life, our own people, it's a sad fucking day. It's a sad day. And so that's my rant, and I'm gonna let it go.
No, yeah, I'm definitely, I'm with you. I feel you coming from in regards to it. I think like I was talking to AO the other day about like certain times there's certain causes where you just have to stand on principle and just stand on business with it. I don't even necessarily feel, and I know where you're coming from, the real ones just know that it's a time for it to move with the net, and it may not be something that is spoken out loud because a lot of people are just changing up their actions. Speaking about the Amaya case, you thinking about Kyle Rittenhouse case, they basically showing you that it's been a shit show the entire time. So you'd really be a fool to still to not be entertained by, but also see America for what it truthfully is. And within that, if you could just sit back and just relax without taking any action, it don't matter. It ain't about talking about it. It's just really going out and doing it and changing the paradigm. And it's shifting. And I think we're seeing it in front of our face. But hopefully it's more people that are really on board with it. And not just typing about it, they're really getting out in their communities and being intentional. And like Flake always, tokens, and it's almost like his phrase. That's why voting matters for that right. And for Spirit's point and ours, is just be present in the moment. Do the things that a lot of people talk about. Sometimes you have to use your word of mouth as your own advertisement, but there also has to be a time where the camera's not going and social media is not involved, and you're active in making sure that you're taking those steps to really impact and change what's going on, because it's happening, right in front of you. I think it's more people that are doing. I just hope people understand that they're just as intentional as you should be. And if you're not, I think I use myself for an example. I had to check myself to make sure that I was moving in a righteous way, to make sure that my messages come across clear and concise, but also you got to be aware of stuff, because I didn't care about voting, so I enlightened myself. I didn't care about a lot of different stuff until you put yourself around people that challenge you to realize that we may never change the system because it wasn't built for us, but we could definitely impact the people around it and understand of what our own individual plight or goal is, and just be on board with people that's with it. And if you're not, don't complain about it because it wasn't made for us, and that's just what it is. So I'm feeling you.
Yeah, I think we have just seen. We've always been seeing, but I think it's been with social media what we have now. I think it's just been highlighted more of what happens in the courthouse on how they pretty much make their own rules and do as they want to do, uh, as they say. I know the Kyle Rittenhouse situation is a white on white crime, but you also see what they've done to paint this young boy in a light, in a positive light, in the positive side of it. His mama on Fox News and all this other stuff, so they get that highlight that some other people might not get when they trying to point a factor and point that and sway people the other way. I've seen this has been played out on TikTok and TikTok a lot, and we know a lot of the younger kids deal with TikTok, and it's been played out on there some. I don't know what the point of that is, um, but yeah, social media playing a factor, and people are appalled at what's going on in their case, and I see that everybody's making the memes and the funny stuff with the fake tears or whatnot, and I know it's funny, but it's seriousness behind it. As you see, he got on there. This man did all that, and I'm gonna say man because we've known kids with other skin color be tried as adults in situations like this, and I believe he is being tried as adult because they say he could face life in prison. So I'm gonna give him the man card on that. But he did all that, and not one tear was shed. And then he played it off and like stopped and looked at the judge like, "You're not gonna stop this. We're not gonna take a break." And then started again. And the judge was like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna take a break." Like, what type of mess is it? It's been plenty of times we've seen on court TV somebody up there bawling, hollering, and talking, and they still proceed on with badgering and badgering and badgering. Um, and then also with the Marbury case, I mean, what a lawyer can sit there and say in front of all those people and still be able to do that trial after that is ridiculous. I've never in my life heard of a situation like that where they were calling out, we don't want to see any more black pastors, not men of the cloth, black pastors. Well, who's to say that it's not white pastors that can be threatened and also to that one black person that is on the jury that's sitting with the opposing family. You know what I'm saying? No, nobody ever want to talk about that side. Like Kyle Rittenhouse, yeah, I all talk about him. But what about the victims? What about what the victims' mothers are going through? What about the man who got shot and survived? What is he going through? Nobody talks about that. The
Yeah.
focus ain't even on Ahmaud Arbery. The focus on the dudes on trial. And now everything come back to light with what the police did, this, that, and other. But nobody want to talk about what the victim's family is going through. We want to talk about the people that should be condemned and what they're going through. But we see how that switch up because there's been people of different colors on trial, and the nice things are never said about them.
Yeah. And I
One
was,
thing I want to say real quick, Rose. To your point, Flake, it was white on white crime, but anytime they associate with
Well,
us,
we said we're gonna say this no more, but don't nut. They look at them as nigga lovers. You know
no,
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's what I was gonna say. So anytime they associate with us, they condemn them and say, "Oh, they not white." So that's why they not victims. That's why because they was on a protest, uh, aligned with us for our purpose and for our plight, and they was joined with us and trying to empathize and sympathize and be a brother in arms or a sister in arms for us. That's why they're not considered victims, and that's why they don't care that it's a white on white crime. Like you said, they consider them nigger lovers, so they consider them a shade of us. Go ahead, Rose. That's all I was gonna say.
yeah. And yeah, mine pretty much along the same things is that just listen to the verbiage and how they show you of how they're willing to paint certain certain people out as patriots, because they're bringing up the people that were killed are bringing up the charges, and we won't even get into that. That's a whole nother situation. But for them not to be able to be called victims, but they're able to be called rioters, looting, and everything else that they did. And then for the previous president-elect to get on TV and say that these are proud people that marched and broke into the building, the Capitol building, they didn't even use the verbiage for them, and they stormed the Capitol building. But you want to paint these people out as rioters and out there to destruct. And keep in mind, they were, don't get me wrong, but y'all didn't feel the same thing about the people at the Capitol. It's like, but it's funny because like I tell people, I feel like this, and I had shared it in one of the little small episodes, I feel like this is a trap. They did their best to get people from people of color to get caught up in it, because in the rights of Black Lives Matter, and like I've told people, I wouldn't take that bait. It's because we haven't seen them present, and it's for a reason. It's because this don't go with they plight. But this is why people were there, but you haven't even hear, you hear it every now and then, but you notice that should be dominating the airways, but it's not. So it's strategic. It's very planned, and I wouldn't be surprised if everybody involved walked free at all. Like, I'm not even gonna set myself up to even fake care enough to act like it's gonna be any different. Like, I feel like it's all a show.
And that's the crazy part about cases like this, is that we don't even expect justice to be served. Now, how crazy that's the crazy part, that we look at this and we don't even expect justice. We got to be surprised that justice will be served. As you know, as they say, what they say, Lady Justice, she got the bandana over her eyes. I'll be damned. She like Judge Judy. She gonna have one eye winking over just to see what's going on. And I said Judge Judy did anything, but if you ever seen Judge Judy's show, like the intro, she got the bandana on. She kind of raised up and winked before the show start. And that's how we feel like Lady Justice raised up that bandana and she winking that one eye in between her and seeing what's going on to sway her decision, because it's supposed to be blind justice. None of this stuff supposed to play a factor. You're supposed to, present the facts and go on from there, not request that, oh, we don't need any more black pastors in the building to kind of sway the jury. Now, if one pastor gonna sway 11 white people and one black person, man, that just show you how much power they believe we have. But nobody looking at the other side and seeing who the family is bringing in there. We don't know who those people are. So I think it's just pointing out to everybody that's seeing that, on both ends is just pointing out in the forefront on, when you get there, when you're in those judge chambers, you see exactly what's going on. When you're in court, you see how things can be swayed, you see how things can be said. And once again, like we said on the previous episode, we need as many people to show up to jury duty as possible. I mean, if it's 200 of us, we need 200 people to show up and make them remove all 199. You know what I mean?
I'm with you on that. Like I was with you on that last the episode that we talked about it. However, I'm all about imploding this whole judicial system and starting over from scratch. If we don't
Yeah, I
demand
mean, we
something,
want to. We
yeah,
want
but
to. That's
I'm
gonna take
saying
time.
we
And
need
in
to.
the interim, we need everybody to.
Yeah, no, and I totally understand, and I'm with you, and I know that it's going to take time, and we need people doing their due diligence. But I'm saying we have to be more intentional about imploding this whole thing up and creating something that is equal for us, or if not, leaving this country or doing something. Because at the end of the day, we will always, if we don't demand it, we will always be in this position. It could be 2,150, and we'll still be in this position.
I was just thinking about something when you had said that imploding the system, but I still have the belief of if we went back to just creating our own, I think that would be more feasible, is correcting some of a lot of the issues that we have within our own communities, to get back to that old school village way of just doing stuff. Like, it used to be a time where people out in the country was considered more family oriented than city people. And I say that to say this, is that going back to those old school ways is what made the Black community so strong and powerful. To me, I think that's where a little bit of integration, it took away our power, because I feel that we wanted to be accepted by a system that was never created for us. And in the mix of that, it comes off as we're begging to be a part of a system that we know is never going to be. So going back to our original ways would be better, because then now we have our own system and we're not relying on them. And by that will empower our inner cities and our overall community itself. And then when the money is being spent and circulated amongst us, we honestly wouldn't give a damn what they put on Fox, NBC, or none of that, because it will go back to like it was back in the day. You damn near didn't even hear a TV on at your great grandparents' house. If you was out there in the country, y'all was either playing as kids or the grown folks was in there talking. It wasn't everybody sitting around on their phones or in front of the TV because they didn't care about them distractions, because really that world wasn't that. And it took them 30 minutes to make it into town. So if we went back to that mindset that we used to laugh about back in the day, to me, I feel like that's what we need to go back to, is the traditional way of being Black, supremely Black, however you want to put it. But to hell with their system and create our own. And that comes with our own justice as well. And if you understand that by reading between the lines, if that was set and structured the correct way, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Well, I'm in agreement with you to a certain extent, though, because at the end of the day, we got to go with the history and the episode where we talked about the multiple massacres that happened. Anytime we start to do that and get our own and become very self-sufficient, but also efficient and equitable, they do something to come in and bomb us, to flood us out, to do a whole bunch of different things. And so we have to be careful with that. And then the second part of that is, even though we are governing ourselves, still when you out on them streets, you still got to abide by their system unless we implode the whole thing totally. Because on the outside, when we're on the streets, driving the streets, or when we're going from A to B, whether it be to work or whatever the case may be, we still have to live in their judicial system to a certain extent. Yes, in our communities and in our satellite communities that we have, yes, we can be our own judicial system. We could govern ourselves. We could go back to our old ways, but that only allows us so much freedom when we still have to abide by the totality of America.
Okay, and I'm following you on that, but okay, look at it like this, and we both just know from life, is how I would put it, the original structure behind gangs and why they were formed in the communities to protect them from outside people, right? If we truthfully got back to the ways of protecting our neighborhoods with that, I could come to your hood, I could come to Flake Hood, and how we would be so powerful to the point where we would have 100% protection because we're moving all in unison. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I get it with the system, but if we change our mindset, that makes us more dangerous than worrying about fixing their system when they created their system for them. That's just kind of how I look at it. I get what you're saying, but if we get back to our traditional ways, you pulling me over and thinking you're gonna be able to do X, Y, and Z looks a whole lot different. If you caught me in our protected neighborhoods, you're not even gonna be playing with me like that because you know how it is. And you know, same way you don't get pulled over when you're in a rich neighborhood flying through there because they know who you are. It would be those same boundaries and respect, because you know if you come over there and pull Spears over and he's in the area, we all on call and it's boom, hey, I'm outside in y'all area. And this is how we doing. Because they just same way they can call for backup for police, another patrol car to pull up, we should have that same unity amongst each other within our neighborhood. So they couldn't come over there playing like that.
Nah, I totally feel you. I just don't feel like there's that many of us that were willing to do that.
But it has to start somewhere. I feel you though. I feel you.
I don't think we have enough soldiers yet with enough heart or enough courage right now. We need to go to the Oz and see the Wizard or something, because I feel like a lot of us a lot of us are slacking in that area. If I'm just gonna be real, like that, I'm in agreement with everything you said, and that is the hope.
Yeah.
But if we being honest, we got a whole bunch of
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I ain't even gonna put the hope. It's gonna be the goal for us. That's just how we move it. So that's just gonna have to be something that's, it's just stamped. And if you know what's going on with that. But we just have to. More people need to have this type of conversation, and it won't be recorded. We learned that from Brother Hampton. But it's just certain things that you just strategically put. I don't think, and now it may be far-fetched, but I still think that there's a community within how we're speaking that could get back to those original ways. It just takes that conversation to spark, if you feel what I'm saying. Yeah.
Now, I know what Brother Hampton meant, but I think in today's time, it will be recorded. But I think that would be better for our story if it is recorded.
Boom. Yeah. It'd be better for the story, but in the moment, some things are just gonna have to be checked at the door so we can make sure from learning. You know what I'm saying? From learning from,
But I'm just saying, just in case if they ever got power again, they couldn't misconstrue our story by erasing our history because we didn't have it recorded in either a written aspect or a visual aspect. So then therefore our truth can be told by us and for us. But yeah. So that was a dope conversation. And like I said, I'm in agreement with both of y'all. It's just that we also have to be mindful of the infrastructure that we're in right now. But not to leave our go ahead.
That's where voting comes in.
Please put that on the shirt, bro. Like, but it's true.
I'm just saying, it really is. And the way our system is built, we don't have kings and queens. We have a democracy. We have, we don't have a royal family, anything like that. So we have a democracy. We imploded by, once again, doing your local voting, doing your research, making sure you get the right people in place to make moves and make changes.
Yeah, which is true, because you see how they're coming up with different restrictions in areas that were forever supposed to be red. And that to flake your point, that's why it's so true, is because when you start to see those spots start to flip and states start to flip, you're being powerful in that space. But to Spirit's point, if the backing of that is very strong and not just so politically caught up, that's what to catch him off guard, is that when you can't muscle what's the muscle, and then them seats fill, and then you let everybody else handle what they need to handle. If that ain't your lane, just don't get in that lane. Let the people that ride like that. And you handle your business. If it's voting, it's voting. If it's standing for something, it's standing for something. But it's just having a design lane and understanding that you could be a leader within your own retrospects, but it may not be the enforcer. You may be the political person that know how to get in them rooms and talk to those people. And we got the enforcers that are making sure that you're protected and able to deliver your message correctly. And you got the people that, know how to do both, but understanding that it's going to have to be some type of chain to allow people to really correct the system that we all play in, but also establish our own foundation to where it can't be infiltrated and taken down or erased, to Spirit's point as well. So, yeah. I damn near don't even want to talk about Cap since we here. Like, I love that conversation. That's where it's at, for real. But yeah, Spirits, what was your question last week, bro?
Was this Cap's way of letting the NFL know that he just wanted to be a QB? So I would like to hear, after y'all had a week to marinate, let that question marinate, I would like to hear your thoughts and your perspective.
Yeah, I keep it short. I know we said we're gonna keep the episodes a little bit cleaner. We're 30 in, so that's dope. But honestly, I feel like it was. I didn't get moved by watching it again. He's gonna, to Flake's point, he's gonna have to come with a part two. because at this particular point, I'm going to take it as this. He shared his story. He connected with the younger version of himself. He chose not to speak on the later version of his life and what I would have been interested in of why you actually chose to protest. What did it really mean to you? How's your life has been impacted? I think that's just where movies like that would have moved me, or a docuseries. I didn't really care to see your prom date. And, you know, I mean, it was cool to see that your parents, how they felt. And I hope that you were able to heal and got whatever counseling you needed out of growing up in a household where what you felt of your culture that you were being disconnected from. I hope you were able to find that. And maybe that was the reason why you protested, still kind of trying to figure out how you were so hood and like fried pork chops, but was in the house where y'all had, you had to put salt and pepper on your food. I was everywhere with it, but I think that was really more or less of him saying, this is where it's gotten to, but I still wake up every morning at 5 o'clock, hoping to get another shot. I think it was dope for how he was able to capture people's mind and create a much needed conversation. But more importantly, I think that's what he wanted to do. And to the biracial kids that seen the movie, I hope this has helped you live your life in a space to where you're not judged and realize that sometimes there's big differences between our cultures because we are very culture driven, and a lot of people are worried that, you know, Anglo-Saxon people don't have much culture. They get it from other people. And I hope that helps you cope with who you are as a Black man or Black woman, because that's definitely how they're going to view you. But until I see part 2, he got people's attention and he created conversation, which I think was needed. But I wasn't fulfilled by the docuseries, and I don't feel like he wanted to be anything besides a quarterback.
Yeah, it sat on me for 2 weeks. And my same thought was this: if that's the case, fuck him. Fuck him. If that's all he wanted to do, fuck him. That's all. Like, I mean, I'm being for real. If that's all, that was the only point you was trying to drive home, fuck him. Like I said, I hope that ain't it. I'm praying that ain't it. He ain't got to come with another 6 episodes on Netflix. He ain't got to do that. Come with a documentary after that. Just come with something. Give me something.
Ooh-wee. Like Flake did counsel the old Cap, if that's the case, huh?
I can't counsel him. I ain't got the power to do that.
Man. Yeah.
But hopefully that ain't it. I know that was hard. No, I wasn't harsh. That's not my true feelings. If this was all this was for, that's my true feelings. He ain't got, if he want to come with another, 6 episodes on Netflix, that'd be great. But I need a documentary. I need something following up to this. And whether you want to put a book out, man, if this was an introduction, the Netflix thing was introduction, and then he want to put a book out of the latter half or whatever, it got to be something after this. Because then I'm like, what's the point? What was the point? That's what I'm gonna feel like after this. Well, then I'm gonna feel like, oh, this was all. Was it a dollar grab? This series on Netflix, was it just a dollar grab? Was it a paper grab? I mean, what was it? I think we will have something else. I'm gonna stand on that we will have something else to come out. But if we out here a year later and we get on this podcast and we ain't heard nothing else, fuck them. That's all I gotta say.
You might well get ready to put that on the shirt too. I don't really think I don't think it's coming down. He gonna fool me. I'm gonna be extremely shocked if that happens.
I'm gonna tell you like this: a book ain't gonna suffice. Ain't shit gonna suffice, but something in the same way that he did his six part docuseries. So it got to be visual. It got to be 30 minutes or longer, because they was 30-minute pieces, and it has to be either a movie or another fucking docuseries. But also, to your point, Rose, that dialogue that he created ain't a dialogue that we on right now. Like, I understand biracial people might struggle with some things, especially growing up in a white neighborhood. I know we still deal with colorism to a certain extent, but in our culture, in our neighborhoods, colorism isn't the issue that it was in the 80s and early 90s, or even in the 70s and 60s and everything like it was back then. So I think that is something that we have started to heal from, or started to change the directive and the narrative of colorism in our community. So to me, that wasn't a message that was really for us. And the message that Cap started, the message that Cap put out there, was the social injustice message. Nothing he touched on besides that one little clip when he drove dealt with social injustice, dealt with unrest, talked about anything that today's society, as we started the conversation with about, you know, the court systems right now that's going on right now on TV, on national news, touch none of that. We don't care about your little corny AI braids that you said had your mind fried and boggled, and you couldn't deal with
tender-headed.
Huh?
And him being tender-headed.
Yeah, we don't care about that. We don't care that you had to eat some bland food for most of your life, or whatever the case may be. That ain't what we in touch with. We don't care about that. What we want to know is how you feel after you did what you did, what made you do what you do in the first place, and we kind of got a little bit of understanding because you were standing up for us, and we appreciate that. But what led you to do it then? Because there have been years of social injustice before that. So what made you at this point say enough is enough? We want to know what, like Flake said last time, we want to know about your talk with the Army Ranger and stuff, and how you decided to go from sitting down to kneeling and the things like that. We wanted that dialogue. We wanted to know how Roger Goodell and the NFL and the owners came on your ass and everything. We wanted to know why you're not talking to Jay-Z and others in the culture and the community, or why you took this vow of silence to a certain extent, but then want to give us this bullshit six-part docuseries. That's what the fuck we wanted to know. We didn't want to know none of this bullshit about you growing up in white America with certain privileges and being a 3-star athlete and becoming a quarterback. So I need something more. I need something more profound. I need something more heartfelt. I need something touching that pulls me in.
Yeah.
And then also a fucking book, a fucking tour. That shit ain't gonna do shit, because after you've been mum this long, my nigga, and I'm sorry, I gotta use the N-word on this. After you've been mum this long, my nigga, a tour, all this other shit, because we know when the money grabs, the money grab. And again, we not trying to support you getting dollars back in your pocket because you're missing out on some shit from the NFL. We want to make sure that you are who you are and you serious about this shit, that you built out the mud about this shit, that this shit ain't something you just doing for a front and trying to pander your black people and manipulate our minds, hearts, and households and funds for this bullshit. So that's how I feel about it. And I do think he was doing it to tell the fucking NFL he ready to be a quarterback, apologize in a way where he didn't have to say I'm sorry, but he put it out there. This is all I ever wanted. This is all I ever tried to be. So please give me the chance again. Please, massa. And that's how I feel like he did it.
I would have even been cool, because I had thought about it, and I want to make sure that people heard the message correctly, because I'm of the belief that a lot of people really love the series, which is cool. I would have even been fine with him connecting to the current events that have occurred and not like a history lesson, because for the same things that you set for or, kneel for, to your point, like speak on why you chose to do it when you weren't starting. Answer that question, like touch base on, we understand you were sitting down, but you started kneeling when you were the second string quarterback. and a lot of people called it out. Was that a brat move? Well, you know, it's a lot of different things that I feel that you could have cleared up. You could have even touched it to what's going on now, and just to bring it all the way full circle of what your individual goal was. I just purposely, didn't care for not knowing of what your meaning behind the video was or the docuseries was. I left not understanding, and a lot of people I'm around are very deep thinkers, and they all felt kind of empty. Like, okay, we know it's youth, but
I mean, don't get me wrong.
we 40 into
The docuseries is good. If you
No, it
throw
is.
out what we talking about right now, and the possibility that it might not be nothing coming after this, for itself, it is good.
No,
Like
it
I
is.
said before, I think my opinion is the reason for this docuseries is to get certain people to understand his upbringing, how he came up, and the certain things he went through as a youngster. Because a lot of people was calling him out, like, bro, you didn't go through nothing, so why is you doing all this now? Like, you know, and I think that's why he had created this docuseries. I don't know, but I think that's why it was there to show, like, hey, I might have grew up in this privilege, I might have grew up with a white family, but it was racial undertones that I went through as a child. But to people like us, where the way we grew up, player, that was light compared to some of the stuff that everybody else did. Like, it was real light, my G. Like, hey, you know, if you would have threw on there that the police took you out the car and put you on this hot hood, and that hood hot, and he ain't gonna turn it off, and he got you handcuffed, and you sitting on this burning hood on this 87 Chevy, and then you know them hoods get super hot, and they just got you laying there, and then don't find nothing and leave your stuff scattered all over the interstate and say, go pick it up and drive off. Damn, I mean, get a little personal there.
Or actually pull the motherfucking pistol out on you.
Or pull the pistol out on you. You know what I mean? It was kind of light. So, like I said, Cap, my boy, if somehow this podcast gets you, I know I said, fuck it, but I got faith. The boy Flake got faith in you that we gonna have something else. You get Ava DuVernay on their phone, you get Robert Townsend on their phone, you get them cats back on their phone. Anthony Anderson, I don't care who it is. Get them cats on the phone and say, hey, Supreme Black Podcast, say, bro, I gotta drop 6 more detailing, you know, my later years in life. Let's get to writing, let's get this thing popping so I can tell my story, and then we got a call to action after that. Some need to break off, because if you don't, fuck them.
If you don't, you a bitch. I'm gonna just put it like that. You a whole bitch out here. And
which, I mean, I'm gonna take it as this. I ain't, you know, because I know how I feel about you call me a bitch. We go never see. You know what I mean? Hey, you know,
a little bit with spirit.
Yeah. Like, hey, I feel like you damn near called me one. I'm like, hold on, my boy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna put it this way, Colin Kaepernick, sir. If this happens to land in your hands, and this wasn't your goal, just come out and say, or answer the question, this is what I wanted. I didn't intend for it to go this far, cool. I ain't gonna call you no bitch. I'm just gonna say you not my kind. You ain't who I would side with, and I'm glad you chose your side. That's it. Because, I mean, it don't make him a bitch, because, I mean, he did something most people still wouldn't do. Like, the nigga did leave $1 million job. Like, niggas won't even leave for $10. So I give him that. Like,
no. Let's get it twisted. Let's get the facts straight though. He didn't leave. He got fired. They cut him. They released him. Yes,
yeah, but he decided not to resign.
He decided not to resign.
Yeah, he decided not to resign the contract.
Because he didn't want to be a second string quarterback. But he got cut first. He got cut first. Then somebody decided to bring him in camp. He got cut. Mm-hmm. Somebody decided to bring him in camp. He went to camp. They told him he was going to be a second string. He decided not to sign.
I get you. You know,
but the 49ers cut him, but he opted out that deal.
No,
he didn't agree to restructure his contract.
Yes, and then he went to after the 49ers, he went to He went somewhere else though after the
I
49ers.
think it was Miami.
Yeah.
Miami,
Yeah,
somewhere that, yeah.
Miami or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta give him this. He did leave the greatest job in the United States of America. And that is being a backup quarterback. That is the only job you can get paid millions of dollars to hold a clipboard and wear a headset weekly and get paid millions of dollars.
Yeah. Don't even
So
get brought
I
up in
mean,
the news,
I know
nothing.
I know a lot of people pride is like I wouldn't be no second string quarterback. But we got to call it in what it is. Being a backup quarterback in the United States is the best job in America because you get paid millions.
But his
to
ego
do nothing.
told him otherwise. His ego told him otherwise.
Ego a motherfucker too, boy.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I mean, but he still did. He still did what a lot of people wouldn't have done. He still took a knee. He still.
No,
You know,
I give him props for all of that. But what I'm saying is, if you come with this docuseries and then you don't do nothing else, or if you're not trying to talk about the points that we want to talk about that we won't answer, you just
let's say America wants answers. Let's not say put it just on us as we. No, America wants these answers. The entire Black community wants these answers.
I don't think white America cares.
I said the entire
I think
Black
white
community
America would be happy.
Yeah, the entire Black community.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by we, though. That's who I mean by we, because we represent or we are part of the infrastructure of the Black community. And so that's what I mean by we. But I think white America is happy with what they got. That makes him more appeasing to them. And that makes them willing to bring him back in the household. So then if he does become a quarterback, they can say, oh, I'm not mad at Cap no more.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
So
yeah,
I got to real quick. Yeah,
you about to say fuck him again.
Hold on, real quick. I'll tell you the crazy part. It's like before he was sitting down in England, everybody know Marshawn Lynch was sitting down during the national anthem. Like, and for some reason, Marshawn Lynch is my guy. He almost untouchable. Like nobody had nothing to say. Everybody had nothing to say about him. Like it's Marshawn being Marshawn, and they didn't say not a word. And even after the fact, until he retired, he still was sitting down.
You know why I feel that is because you know what comes behind Marshawn's story and why he was sick, never addressed it. And he don't have to. Colin didn't have to, but the people that have always backed Colin felt a way that he took the privilege that he had and went against their system. And that's just why I feel that he had to come out with this to kind of clear up, hey, this is what I went through, so I felt this. But, I mean, again, it's still confusion. Marshawn wasn't going to tell you nothing. And if he was sitting down, you know exactly how he was feeling.
Marshawn, hey, come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
You know what's going on.
You know what's going on.
We ain't got to talk about it. You know what happened.
Exactly. Have you watched the news? They keep asking questions. Have you watched the news? Have you watched the news? Yeah.
And then one more thing though, for the Cap part, and this goes back to your point even earlier when we was talking, Rose, like where you say like if we gain control of our communities again, certain things wouldn't take place, and that's why they didn't fuck with Marshawn. But the other thing about Cap is he was always trying to appease them, because we got to remember he started sitting down. Mm-hmm. And then after he talked to the soldier and everything, that's when they said, okay, we'll find a common ground. And then he started to kneel to be respectful. But he was always trying to appease or cater to the masses and the Anglo-Saxon community versus just doing what he felt he wanted to do in his heart.
I ain't mad about him changing from sitting to kneeling out of respect for the soldiers. Like I ain't mad at that at all. That was just totally not to show disrespect to the people who have made sacrifices. So I ain't really mad at him doing that. You know what I mean? Just stand on it though. Just stand, which he did stand on that. Just don't come with this. Just please put out something else. I ain't got nothing else. I really ain't got nothing else.
That's all it's gonna end up keep coming back to. That's all it is.
And I'm not mad that he did change it, But I'm mad that he appeased to the masses and he flexed to the masses, because at the end of the day, if you talk to real soldiers and everything, the ones who knew what he was doing and how he was exercising his actual Second Amendment right,
No, they weren't mad at him either.
they didn't care, because that they knew that that's what he was fighting for. It was the racist undertones, the ones that's in the military and not in the military, who was using it as a disrespect thing. But then anytime you brought up, well, the NFL actually charges the military to do the open ceremony with the flag and to come out with the army and everything, they didn't care about that.
Ain't nobody got
because if
nothing
it
to
was
say.
so patriot, yeah, they don't got nothing to say. But when it comes to a black man doing something and taking a stand, oh, then they all in arms and they pissed off.
Yeah, and it was, and I know you got passionate. It's the First Amendment. Second Amendment is the gun law.
Yeah, First Amendment. That's what I'm
saying. Yeah. But yeah, Spears over there fired up. And he talking about strap it in, like, hey, man.
Hey, you know, the thing about it, the big shot in my phone.
Right, whoa, yeah, yeah, but yeah, you know, to the people that's listening, if y'all see Spears out getting addressed by somebody tall with a fro, the one of them trench coats on, you know what it is, man. Just go on about your business.
Nah,
they got to shoot a fair one. They got to shoot a fair one. Let them get their 5 minutes. Right? They got to shoot a fair one.
All they gonna say, hey, Spears, you want to bring it back? I ain't you I'll let you my boy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, Cap don't want these problems.
Hey, man, Cap might have the hands, bro.
Cap don't want these problems.
Cap might be nice from the shoulders. You never know.
You never know.
Like I said, Cap don't want these problems. Cause I'm good from the shoulders and I'm always carrying. So
no, hey, hold on now.
Y'all gotta shoot a fair one. Y'all gotta shoot a fair one. I gotta shoot a fair one.
Catch you on one of the books. You used to throw them 96 mile per hour fastballs. Get up, Spirit.
I talked to better than get up, son.
Get up, Spirit. You got some pretty black looking weak out here, my boy. Yeah. But no, that's what's up, though, man. We gotta close it out.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Man, real quick, you got a black businessman. I know we would. You got a black businessman experience.
Yeah.
If not, I can do my supreme black person real quick. Oh man. Y'all funny.
For our Black Business Minute, we got spring break watches. You could catch them on their website, spelled out springbreakwatches.com. It's a proudly black-owned HBCU made design in North Carolina. Watches, Spring Break Watches, and it's short, the acronym that they got for it and everything that you can find them on Instagram and their social media is SPGBK. Watches is a designer watch company based out of North Carolina that provides an amazing variety of impactful, unique, and colorful watches. We draw strength and inspiration from our community and culture, our beautiful childhood experiences growing up in Fayetteville, and our strong passion for education, hence the name Spring Break. Each watch and watch band in our collection is symbolic and named in honor of a school or community located in our hometown. Like Frederick Douglass, Spring Break is inspired by education because I believe it provides a direct pathway to true freedom. I have always been obsessed with Black history and I have an intense personal interest in education, but it was not until I read his Frederick Douglass book did I discover the true value of it, which made me want to share its importance with our community and entire world. We create and design reinvigorating watches you'll be proud to wear. Our goal is to introduce new watches that feel better, meaning they resonate in your spirit and will make you feel proud to wear. Expensive designer watches are often glorified within our culture, and we are challenging that narrative head on by providing an unmatched watch alternative that is more purposeful, more affordable, and represents the excellence within our community. So that's Spring Break Watches. The owners or the creators and founders of Spring Break is Kwame Molden and Maurice Davis. And again, you can find them on Instagram at springbreakwatches.com. I mean, on their website at springbreakwatches.com or on Instagram at SBGBK.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them for sure. Our Black History, Lord. Our Spring Black Person of the Week is Sarah E. Good. Sarah E. Good, Chicago furniture store owner. They invented the folding cabinet bed to fit into small homes. Is what you would call the pull-out bed or the folding bed. Whatever. This was the first version of that. A Black woman invented that. Uh, She's the first African-American woman to receive a patent on July 14th of 1885. Today, there's a science, technology, engineering, and math education school in Chicago named after Sarah E. Good. She was the inventor of the folding bed. That's why I said it'd be real quick. There's more information on her, but we did go a little bit over, so I saved it. But anytime you go somewhere and they roll that little, if you go to a hotel and they got the little fold-out bed, pulling out the couch, or if you got one in your own in your home yourself, just remember Sarah E. Good is the person that invented it, and big shout out to her because in the Black community, I'm sure in the white community too, but in the Black community, we use that. But that fold-out bed come out clutch, boy, especially during the holidays coming up too. Yeah, a lot of people over your house and family, they pull out that old fold-out bed and get to going, and them pallets on the floor.
Hey, for real though. Shout out to them. Definitely shout out. Definitely shout out.
With that being said, to all our queens out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side, let them know you are a queen. For all our kings out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side, especially if you ain't scared to shoot a fair one. We are supremely black, and we out.